What is happening, guys? ChrisFromNTG here, and today I am profiling my Lucario Lycanroc Zoroark deck list. I am going to run through the individual card choices, run through the deck as a whole, and basically talk about why you should play this over Lycanroc Zoroark, Lucario Zoroark, or Lycanroc Lucario. I'm going to talk about individual card choices and the card choices you can play instead of the 60 you see in front of you. So starting off, we have 4 Zorua, 4 Zoroark. I'll start off right away by saying why you should play Zoroark instead of Octillery. Octillery has a massive target on its head, and it is only plays with 2 off, let's not forget. With a format full of Lycanroc, Octillery becomes far too easy to knock out. You can bring it out, knock it out with the Lucario's Aura Strike, which is just far too easy to do, and it is such a momentum swing, because it means you can be end down to a low hand and basically be completely taken out of the game all off one knockout, whereas they have to knock out really all your Zoroarks for you to be in that same situation. In addition, Zoroark allows you to pitch deck cards in matchups, whereas you can't really do with Octillery. You only have Sycamore, which is only played as a one-off because of Cynthia, or Ultra Ball, so it makes your ends a lot better. It makes Sycamore draw a lot better, Cynthia draw a lot better, and it just means you can effectively tech for the matchups without you having to worry about seeing them later in the game via ends, Cynthia and Sycamore. And lastly, unlike Octillery, you get access to one of the most broken items in the game right now in Puzzle of Time. So all those together, to me, there's a reason why you shouldn't be playing Octillery over Zoroark. Yes, Brickle Hill is nice. Yes, being able to refill your hand and draw 5 cards off one Pokemon is nice. But it just does not hold a candle to Zoroark. Moving on, we are playing 2 Rockruff and 1 Lycanroc. Why you should include this instead of other cards in a Lucario Zoroark deck is because Lucario Zoroark suffers really heavily in the sort of mid to late game, because after you've Aura Strike, your opponent is not going to poke you for anything, because they do not want to put massive damage on the Cantankerous Beatdown. So you're just sort of stuck there having to poke with a Aura Strike at base damage or Throw Stone, and then continue poking at 120 to 150 with a Zoroark, which again, not that optimal. You have to play stuff like Super Scoop Up to really get the effectiveness of Lucario. And all in all, I don't believe that is a very good game plan, when instead you could play a Guzma on legs in Lucario or in Lycanroc. It just helps your early game, because it means you get the target down the Zoroarks immediately and create the advantage deficit between you and your opponent. In addition, Claw Slash for 1 strong and 2 DCA is a lot better of an attack than Cyclone Kick, that I really do not like using. I don't like charging up for a Cyclone Kick. But Claw Slash also takes out opposing Zoroarks, which is nice. But lastly, Dangerous Rogue is such a momentum swing, which is what your GX attack is really meant to be. It is meant to be a game changer because it's a once per game effect. And Dangerous Rogue, although you can play around it if your opponent is playing around it, it means that their resources, or sorry, their options are limited, which is just a win for yourself anyway. So that's why you should play Lycanroc instead of stuff like Super Scoop Up in Lucario Zoroark. 3 Tapu Lele, that's again really standard. 1 Mew EX, you could play 2 Mew EX and 1 Mew GX if you want as well. It just depends how much fighting is in your meta, either Lucario or Buzzwole. And then we have the 3 Riolu and 3 Lucario GX, that is GX, not EX. GX is unfortunately not on the app just yet. So why should you play Lucario in your Lycanroc Zoroark deck instead of stuff like Parallel City, E-Hammers, stuff like that? Lucario just gives you that early game aggression, which I believe shifts the favour in the game, because you have to start putting energy onto the Rockruff / Lycanrocs for them to do real damage, which makes them, which puts a massive target on their head. Especially in Golisopod, they can just first impression knock it out, and your only real way of taking one shots is eliminated. whereas you have the Cantankerous beatdown if they play into it. Sometimes they have to, especially in Buzzwole when they're placing 30s everywhere, just sometimes they have to play into it in the hopes of one-shotting it. But mostly Aura Strike just comes down. It does 170 to Tapu Lele, which is a game ender, so you're not relying on Dangerous Rogue to see out your games, or you can use it a bit more aggressively in the mid-game to ensure your win condition. But yeah, Aura Strike is just really good in the early game, even in the late game, even in the mid game. It is not too shabby at all. It does see out games and give you that immediate aggression that I think Lycanroc Zoroark was missing. So that's why you should play it all together, effectively. All three Pokemon together. I think they complement each other very nicely. And lastly, for the Pokemon we have in Oranguru, you can play Tapu Koko if you wish. It is mostly for softening up Buzzwole and Ho-Oh. But it's not here at the minute because, like I said, this is not really a 60 list. It's just sort of like what I'm testing at the minute. It's not really tacked for any particular meta or matchup. You can play Giratina promo as well. For the Rockruff, you can play the corner Rockruff as well. But I believe that's kind of gimmicky. In a big tournament, I probably would play it, but for like something a league or League Cup, I probably would just go to promo. So there you go, that's the Pokemon. Moving on to the trainers now, we have 2 Acerola, 1 Cynthia, 1 Sycamore. I love the Cynthia Sycamore split. I think it's better than a 2 of any of them. Sycamore is better than Cynthia in near enough every single situation, bar when you're needing to draw cards without discarding them, or when your hand contains Puzzle of Time. Puzzle of Time is the only card in the entire deck you do not want to discard, because every other card in the deck can be retrieved via puzzles, and puzzles can then be recycled with Oranguru, which just gives your deck like an infinite fuel, infinite stamina. But Cynthia is there for the situations I just described. It is needed, so I wouldn't play a 2 Cynthia or 2 Sycamore. Continuing on with the supporters, we have 3 Bridgets. 3 N, you can cut N down to 2 definitely. There is a lot of Lycanroc, Lucario sort of decks, Zoroark decks that do cut N down to 2. But I believe in like Garbodor matchup or anything like that, it is really good. Because if they have Toxin up, yes sure, out of your Zoroark, if you end them down to a bad hand, like they have no Tapu Lele to draw out of, or any Pokemon draw, simply because they don't play it. So N is a really necessary, and of course it is a big game changer when you're on the losing side. 3 Guzma, because you want to be aggressive. Even if you are playing like a rock, you still play a high Guzma count because of Lucario. Lucario needs to take 2 prizes each time it hits to really get the maximum out of Lucario. 1 Mallow, because Searching Evo Soda's 2nd Zoroark, any of the items, energy. Mallow is just really good in the situations for the reason you play it. Moving on to the items now, we have 2 Field Blower. You can put this up to 3 if Garbotoxin is running rampant in your meta, whereas other stuff is not. You can make sacrifices, but 2 Blower is fine. 2 Evo Soda. This doubles up with Lucario and Zoroark. It just guarantees you can get Lucario out ASAP and be aggressive with this deck. This deck is a rather aggressive deck, so that's why you're playing 2 Evo Soda. 1 multi-switch, because this can get you out of a lot of good situations. It can make your opponent feel safe. It can make your opponent sort of not replays as well because of this card. This card is just really good for moving the strong energy about, especially after you've used Lucario or Strike and you're not really able to scoop it up quite yet. Multi-switching onto either a new Riolu or a Lycanroc for its Colossus or Dangerous Rogue. Multi-switch is just a fantastic card in this deck, and I wouldn't cut it for anything. Puzzle Time, best card in the deck, nothing really to say there. Ultra Ball standard, 2 Choice Band, 1 Float Stone. You can change this about. If you're playing Tapu Koko, you only really need 1 Float Stone. You can play Tapu Koko, as I said before, if you wish. But I think that's a decent item or tool line right there. I wouldn't really want any more. Choice Band's obviously really good for Lucario and guaranteeing 150 in the mirror. Parallel City, I only play this because I don't want to get citied myself. But this card is everywhere in the meta, so it is kind of a big momentum shift whoever gets this off first. But my deck is more aggressive than a normal Zoroark deck, so I don't really believe that this is too necessary, because I'm not actually attacking a Zoroark all that much. All my prizes are usually taken via Lucario and Lycanroc. Zoroark is there just as a draw engine, but a really good backup attacker as well. And lastly, for the energy, we have 4 strong energy and 4 DCE. I don't play any basic fighting energy. You can if you want, if you fear the circuitry. However, with circuitry, Oranguru just wins that matchup because circuitry is not really one of those one-off tagged Pokemon that you'll see in a random matchup. It is there in a mill deck, and how you beat mill decks is Oranguru. So hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I tried to be as detailed as I possibly can because this is a deck that I feel is incredibly strong. This format, it was something I was testing this weekend, and then I happily found out that Igor Costa is also testing the exact same variant, which, you know, that's a really good plus. It means I'm on the right direction. So let me know what you think of the deck, guys. Check out our Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Check out our Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTube if you play Yu-Gi-Oh! But for now, this is Chris from NCG. Silent.